Hello there, compadre. So on top of doing some more ancient event stuff today, I also have two new dragons to get hatching and an old dragon to get hatching too. First of all, I'm going to start with my favourite of these three in the form of Mr. Asteroid, because this dragon here has been available a couple of times. I never managed to get it before, but it did come this week during the ancient event in the dungeon. And I did manage to get it. I think it was on my 6th purple chest. So here he is in his blue, beautiful glory. Such a lovely little dragon. I've always liked this dragon. I think it's mainly the colour scheme, but I also think that the elements are rather fitting. Maybe instead of metal, maybe earth, but I don't know. I just like his colours and the little effects spritzing off of him as well. I like him. So that is a successful dungeon in that sense, even though it was Burnout Dungeon. But anyway, the Asteroid Dragon is most at home in the night sky, where it leaves a telltale blue trail. Its body is so hot that pieces of it fall off as it flies, but its tough skin is always regrowing. Very cute. Look at him, he's literally got stars flying out of his butt, basically. That would be wonderful. Imagine if you could do that IR up. That would be fantastic. But he's got a very floppy tail, as you can see. Look at that flop. Whoa, flop, flop, flop. Lovely. Anyway, that is baby Asteroid. I do just really like the adult form, but it's just such a nice blue. I wish there were more blue dragons. I think that's one thing I need to say. There aren't enough blue dragons in this game. You know who else needs to be blue? Poo emoji. So then it can be just like the Dragon City Handsome Poo. That's all this game needs. And that's it. It has reached peak mobile gaming. But a cool little dragon overall, like I said, and nice little special effects. I don't know if you've got your own Asteroid, but I enjoy mine, and apparently his name's called Pass. So I guess for Smash or Pass, he said Pass. That's fair enough. The other new dragon that I've got from this week is actually Agate, which is another dragon that's been released quite a few times now, but this is the first time I managed to get it recently from the Dragon's Delight event. It was from the Dragon's Delight event, wasn't it? I can't even remember which events we had last week. Anyway, that is another new dragon, so we are closing in on 760 dragons now, so we're making steady progress. The Agate dragons are as beautiful as they are tough. They're valued by fight-friendly trainers for their hard-hitting precision, and by gem lovers for their durability and shininess. Oh, isn't that nice? Although it doesn't look very shiny, to be honest with you. But, you know, in terms of the general events, you know, we do have quite a lot of returning dragons coming in the ancient event, but we have seen other dragons that otherwise I hadn't seen very often that have been coming out a lot more recently. And I think that is a good thing. One problem I've always had with this game is that dragon re-releases just don't happen often enough. And the ones that do get re-released tended to happen like all the time. It's just like how with the Ancient and Divine events, we keep getting the same dragons out of those chests now. And it's like some of them we've seen so many times. And I get it, if you're a new player, they're going to be new. But to everyone else, it's just really boring opening up those chests now. But anyway, the other dragon that we've got here is the Dragon of the Week, Cherry Blossom, and like I said, we do already have this dragon, but we needed a duplicate to go towards the peanut butter jelly collection. But are we really going to get peanut butter jelly? Because this collection ends in less than 2 days, and that means that we need to get like 100 horns in 2 days. It's probably not going to happen. But, you know, for some reason we have to get the dragon again to hatch it during these events, just to get a dragon, which can be incredibly annoying. It's just such an annoying thing. Like, you could buy the dragon as well to complete the collection, but that's like 1,000 gems. Why would I do that in the middle of an ancient event? It wouldn't make any sense. So anyway, we will see what RNGesus gives us in terms of horn drops for the ancient market, because again, we realistically do need to get like 100 horns. We can check in a moment, but without that painting dragon, we're just not going to get PBJ, and we're going to miss out on him again, which seems to be the way things are in this game sometimes. Just the same dragons repeatedly, and we'll just never get the ones that we want to come back. Sounds great. I mean, I can only blame myself for not being available during the other events. You know, at least they have brought it out again, so, you know, you've got a chance to get it, but, you know, depending on what's going on in your life at the time, maybe you're busy, maybe other things are happening, and maybe you just have a PC player like me that can't log in during the day, so you can't do any of the solo events anymore. That's the way it be. But anyway, we have one more battle to get doing, and then I will check the ancient market stuff. But, you know, I've had a lot of people still asking what the best dragons are out of this event, and in terms of the ancients, honestly, I don't really like any of them that are out during this event. The best one is gonna be Neil for his stats, but, you know, the other most useful ancient for how optimal it would be Caltravis, but that's like a $100 dragon. So, honestly, I think for most people, this ancient event is going to be more of just getting random dragons for your team and maybe getting some ancients to use in the short term, but not for the long term. It's just... this was a really bad element for them to end the ancient events on, honestly. At least if it was legendary, it could be a bit of a meme, and at the same time, you know, it would probably make legendaries a little bit more interesting. But no, we only got all the other elements, apart from Primal, because we had Primal coming out after Ancient was a thing. So, we'll see one day. But I've always said with Primal dragons, even though Primals, because if their first element is Primal, they're bad. But if you've got a dragon that has Primal as its second or third element, I can see them actually being usable. But so far, all of the Primals that we've had have been primary element primals, and that's sort of the thing that's ruined them. Unless that's intentional, because they think that having primal as not that first element is going to be too broken. But if that happens, imagine if we could have divines and ancients with primal. You know, that's the only thing I think they could do to make primals actually viable in the game, because as it stands, one, the primal events are incredibly boring and in my opinion just bad. And then, secondly, they're just not useful. But if they just changed it so it wasn't primal being the first element only, genuinely I could see them being used. I mean, it's risky to put the primal buff on yourself, because then you take extra damage, of course. But, at the same time, you can deal more damage, and that can be really useful, or I could see it being used in the dungeon, especially if you got big shields up. So, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do about it, to be honest. But anyway, we need to collect 3 epic keys in the board event, which is fine because we are going for yellow chests in part at the moment. But you'll see that currently I have 113 horns and there's 2 days to go on that collection. And I need 200. So essentially I need another 90 of them, just under. So it's, I have my doubts. It's definitely possible though, because you can get like, you know, many hundreds drops worth. It's just, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? Don't know about that one. We will find out. I don't know. I just don't have any faith in luck when it comes to this game, honestly speaking. I'm just so used to being screwed over by luck in DML that I just have no faith. I have absolutely no faith whatsoever. So, we'll see if we get screwed over or not. It will be good to find out. And which tile do we actually need to be on to get a 6? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is that one, right? Yeah, it's the blue one. This is what I have to do to make sure I don't accidentally re-roll to something I don't want to be on. Because essentially we want to land there to try and go for a 6. But if we don't get it within a... There we go, we could try it now. I was going to say, if we don't get it within a couple of rolls, I'll probably just move on and give up on this checkpoint. But there we go, it paid off this time. So, generally speaking, I will try to always get a purple chest at a checkpoint. But sometimes, if you can't do that, and your re-rolling is just not working out, you know, the next roll could be successful, but essentially it's 1 in 6 for the roll that you actually want, so you have to keep that in mind. Ooh, it times 5 on the horns! Ooh, that could be nice. That could be nice. Let's see what we get out of this full round of chests. And we shall see... Ooh, that was lucky as well. We'll see if we can get any more drops for our yellow drops. Oh, I'm so tempted to take the yellow, but I can't. I can't do it. It's not worth risking the ancient at the end of the day just for, you know, peanut butter jelly. But There we go, another ×5. Every ×5 we get is honestly a hell of a lot better than getting the ×1 for the horns, so it's just a lot of hoping and praying that we can get a big horn drop really at this point, because with the amount of currency we have, it's just not going to be enough to get the painting dragon. Anyway, I'm skipping over the event dialogue because I don't care. Sorry. The only event I cared about was the Aya x Eliza saga, and that's not really being spoken about, I don't think, so don't care. Give me more Aya x Eliza, and then I will be happy. But we are currently on the Chapter 12 fight, which means that now it goes up to 10 doubles, and I've seen a lot of people make this mistake as well, and they do this every single ancient event. They think that because they're on Chapter 12, that means that they're nearly done, basically, like halfway done. No, you are not even close to being done if you are on Chapter 12 right now. Because, again, the amount of doubles you need goes up a lot in the later chapters. So, if you've misled yourself into thinking you're nearly done and halfway through, it's just not true, okay? I'm just giving you that pre-warning. It's like this every single ancient event, where people will be like, oh my god, see, my progress is so good, I'm gonna get Punewin. Punewin's so easy to get, guys. And no. I had to tell more than my fair share of people this week that going for Punewin was basically an act of suicide, because it is. If you're gonna say, oh, well, Punewin's much easier to get than Agate, it's just not true. And plus with Agate, the thing is, Agate has the chance of getting a full drop at any time, whereas Punewin doesn't. You have to consistently get double after double after double after double to get Punewin. So, it's just my pre-warning reminder that you shouldn't be thinking that Punewin's going to be any easier than Agate. Agate's, for the most part, there's 2 different ways of getting him, and you can guarantee Agate. Punewin, even though it's technically guaranteed, especially if you use the trade offer, that if you're trying to go for Agate and Punewin and you think Punewin's just going to happen super easy, it's not going to happen. Unless you are like the luckiest person on planet Earth, but I doubt you are. You're probably not. If you are, then power to you, but no, I can give my warnings. I know that people are gonna, or some people are gonna ignore it anyway. But I will still say it, just in case someone listens, you know. But we do have like 160 tickets at the moment. I haven't been spending them, and of course I've been saving like a couple of them for the tasks that come up on the board. But I think I am probably going to just keep saving up for a little bit longer because, you know, it would be nice to open up tons of chests all at once. I mean, if we don't open them up now, then we don't really know how we stand in terms of how many talismans we have out of these tickets. But at the same time, it's burnout week anyway, so if we do get a good dungeon week next week with, like, say if we got fire dungeon week or something, maybe I'd start opening up my chest then, so that then I can see how many talismans we get, and then, you know, I can base any gemming or anything else on that. Because the reality is, I don't want to over-gem in the dungeons if I don't have to, of course. No point in wasting gems if there's no benefit to doing it. So, if I do ever decide to, like, properly gem the dungeon in a particular week, then I'll start opening my chests. But otherwise, we can just save them for now. Or you can spend them if you want to. It's up to you. If the urge is just too great and it's too tempting, then you do you. Doesn't really matter too much with the ancient chests, but, you know, we'll see what we can get. Ideally, of course, we'll be getting Neil, and if we could get 3 ancients, which I doubt I'll go for, but if we could get Ash Callan as well, that would be great. But mainly just going for the main reward dragon would be my ideal, but depends on how I feel, TBH. But anyway, that is my current progress in this ancient event. Actually, how many pieces do I have for Dragon Board? I didn't even check. 171 for Agate. Again, we're halfway, air quotes, for Punewin, which is not halfway at all. So we still got a long way to go. It is only towards the end of the first week of this ancient event, not even that yet, so we've still got basically another 3 and a bit weeks to go. So if your progress isn't fantastic yet, that's to be expected. It is a very long and drawn out event, and it will take a lot of chest openings and things like that to get the dragon that you want. So best of luck, and I hope that you can get the dragons you want from this.